Hey everyone, it's me, Sunny, and welcome back to Sunny Just Sits in Front of the Camera, that's it, for a few minutes and talks about college. So if you're not on my channel for this kind of video, I'll see you guys in a couple days. But today I wanted to talk about, obviously, a college-related topic. And so I just get it out of the way. It's bad hair day today, which is why I am wearing a hat. But that's not the point. The point is I wanted to talk about changing your major in college because I changed my major, as I'll tell the story in a minute, and I was feeling very uninspired this week and I needed to film a video, but I wanted to do something college related. So I asked a couple of my friends, hey, if you were like a high schooler or something and you were on YouTube searching for college related videos like how to survive college or how to deal with this or that in college, what would you want to look for? And one of my friends who knew I changed my major said, well, talk about changing your major. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's what I'm going to do today. Most of you guys know who I am and what I kind of do in school, but for those of you who don't know, I will give you the quick rundown on myself. Hi, my name is Sunny, as I said, and also the name of my channel, and I'm a senior at RPI in New York, and my major is currently biology, with a focus in molecular biology, but I used to be a bioinformatics and molecular biology major, and yes, they're two separate majors, and I'll go into all that. So I thought I could just kind of go through what happened when I changed my major and then give you guys my advice, tips and tricks or whatever for changing your major. When I'm filming this and when I'm uploading this, it's the beginning of a new fall semester, September 2019, and I changed my major earlier this year, technically in 2019. I changed my major in January, so in the second semester of my junior year. And basically what was happening is the bioinformatics and molecular biology major here at RPI requires a decent amount of computer programming classes, and one of those classes, which I was supposed to take last semester when I changed my major, is called data structures. Now, if you're a college student or you've heard the whispers, you probably know that data structures is not an easy class, and I think at RPI it's one of the most infamous classes as well. So I was really nervous for it, but I had spent the entire winter break basically learning C++, which was the programming language that we do at RPI, or certainly not me, that they do at RPI in data structures. And I was following this really helpful, oh my god, there are cars outside. I was following a really helpful online guide to learning C++ for beginners, etc., and I was feeling pretty confident, I knew how to code some simple programs, etc. But then I get to data structures at RPI and they're doing all of this crazy weird stuff with you have to install these other UIs on your computer and type in all these random bits of letters that are supposed to mean something to unlock new things on your computer that had, I don't know what the fuck they were supposed to do with programming. And I went to office hours. This is all happening within the first week of classes, by the way. I went to office hours and I was like, I don't fucking get the point of this. Why aren't we just learning how to code normal like we did in CS1? And certainly I was not great at CS1 either. I already knew I did not want to be a programmer at all, and I'm bad at programming, but I thought I had studied C++ throughout the winter, so I thought I would be fine, and the coding part was fine. I knew that, but there's just so much other stuff going on, and I just didn't get what the point was, and everything was too complicated. And for this class, you need to work 20 to 40 hours a week on the homework. It got so bad, basically, for me, even though I was trying, going to office hours, working on the assignments every day, whatever, it got so bad to where my mental health just within that first week immediately started a downward spiral. I had been like that before. I knew where it was going. I was having little panic attacks at night. I would cry myself to sleep over this class, and I know that makes me sound super pathetic, but I mean, why not be truthful when I'm telling my story? Obviously, data structures was not for me at all, and I knew people who got through it fine, and that's great. If you got through data structures, I applaud you. You are stronger than me in that aspect. But for me, And like myself, my mental health, it was just not working, even though I was trying desperately to get myself to succeed. I was going to office hours, like I said, etc. And so basically within the first week and a half, 2 weeks of classes, I knew that I just could not do data structures, and that's especially with the other classes I was taking, just because I had a decent amount of work in those classes too. So my immediate thought was, okay, I have to take data structures for my major. The only way I can get out of this is to change my major. And that thought kind of scared me. At first I was like, no, there's no way I can do that. Like, that's like me wimping out or like admitting defeat. But it was my only way out of the class. So I just kind of explored the idea a little bit. And the more I explored it, the more appealing it seemed, especially because the bioinformatics major at RPI is very similar to the biology major, just that for biology there's no computer science requirement. You have a bit more leeway with the biology related electives you want to take, etc., etc. I kept digging into it a little bit more. I compared the classes I had already taken and what I was taking that semester with the requirements for the biology major, and what I found out was there was tons of overlap. I would basically lose no progress by changing my major, meaning I wouldn't have to stay a fifth year in undergrad, which was really nice. So like I use a lot of the required classes for bioinformatics for my biology electives in the biology major, and I think I got really lucky that I still love biology, I just didn't want to do comp sci, so I got lucky in that all of the classes I took for the bioinformatics major were applicable to my biology major in some way, and I would be basically losing no progress in my college experience, college career, etc. So then my next step was basically, since I have a pretty good relationship with my parents, I called my parents and kind of explained the situation. I didn't tell them I was crying myself to sleep over this class, but I think you get the idea. I don't know, they were pretty supportive, which was really good. And I mean, I wasn't really changing my major drastically at all. It wasn't like I was changing from biology major to visual arts or something, even though we don't really have that at RPI. I explained like I'd be losing pretty much no progress in my degree. Everything would pretty much be staying on track. My parents supported me, which I feel really grateful for, and I know everyone doesn't have that kind of support. After I talked to my parents, I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to my advisor, a couple professors first, and see what happens. Then I emailed 2 professors that I really liked, that I really trusted, and I emailed them at like 11:45 at night because I was in the middle of a little bit of a panic attack over the issue. I get very verbose when I write, especially when I type things, so I'm pretty sure that email was like 6 paragraphs long, just explaining everything that was happening. One of my professors actually got back to me like at 12:30 at night, and they were really super supportive, and they were like, if data structures is just not working for you, there's no harm in changing your major to biology. And then the next day the other professor emailed me back and said basically the same thing. So I was like, hey, even though I feel like I'm admitting defeat in a way, I don't feel so bad about changing my major anymore. Like, I have people supporting me, and people are still riding their motorcycles down the street. Essentially, the next day, I went into the office where they have like financial aid and class scheduling and stuff at RPI. It's all in this one building, and there they had these forms that are literally just a change your major form, and literally all you have to do is basically put down your personal information, who your advisor is, what your major was, what you want to change it to. You have to get some signatures. It's super duper easy at RPI. I don't know how it works at other schools, but then I got this thing filled out and I turned it in, and within like 2 days my major was officially changed to biology, and I dropped data structures, and I was like the happiest person in the world. I felt so much better. Like, my anxiety was like instantly gone. Since then I've been super happy with my major. I get to take pretty much like 98% the same classes that I was going to take or wanting to take with my previous major, and this is my last semester of undergrad. I'm graduating a semester early, but then I'm doing a master's program, but just for undergrad I'm graduating early, which is really awesome. And that's basically the story of how I changed my major. Based on my own experiences and a couple other people I've talked to, or like things I've just heard or read on the internet, I'm gonna give you guys basically a list, or kind of like a step-by-step process of what to do when you think you might want to change your major. Disclaimer, obviously everyone is a different person with different feelings, different experiences, different worldviews, but this is just based on mostly my experience and other experiences I've heard secondhand. You don't have to like follow this like step by step. Like, this is just me putting my experience on the internet. I just want to like help people maybe if they're worried about changing their major. Everyone's different, and this is just based on my experience. So hopefully this video can just help you out a little bit. If you're thinking of changing your major, or just something is making you feel like you want to change your major, my first step, I guess, would be to identify exactly what is making you feel this way, or why just in general you're feeling this way. And that could be a certain class you're taking, like it was for me. It could be that the people in your major or the people you see every day are just like not great, like you don't like them, like something wrong is with that. Or it could be, are you kidding me? Or it may even just be that the major in general, the workload is way too intense for you, and that's a valid reason too. But with regards to this point, I would say be careful that you're not just being lazy. College is not a cakewalk for everyone, and if you're just not putting in the effort that you should be putting in, and you're like, this major's too much work, I want to change to an easier major, which you might think be like art, painting, whatever. Just make sure you're not being lazy in that department, because sometimes college is difficult and you need to put in effort to get good results. So once you know what exactly is making you want to change your major, I recommend talking it over with someone, probably a trusted individual like a friend, a professor you really like, your advisor who is there to help you, maybe even a counselor or a therapist if you have one of those, if you like to talk to them. Even if changing your major is just like a really simple thing for you, like it's an open and shut thing, you know you're gonna do it, maybe you can like skip this step if you're just like independent and you don't need anyone else's opinion. But these people that I listed, or maybe someone else if you have an idea for someone else, can really support you through this time if you're stressing out about it like I was. They can just in general give you helpful insights into the situation, and like I said, if you're stressing out about it, it's really good to talk to someone about why you're stressed. Talking to someone really does help, and actually as I'm filming this, I'm going to start counseling later this week at school, because like it helps, okay? If you have a problem, like talking it through with a trusted individual, it's great. Next, which is kind of along the same vein, I would say, is if applicable, because what I'm about to say will make sense, if applicable and if you feel comfortable doing it, talk to your parents about the decision, especially if they're the ones supporting you through college, and if you have other family members supporting you through college for whatever reason, maybe talk to them about it, because there are going to be probably maybe some big changes, especially in the financial department, which I'll talk about in a second. Like if your parents are paying for your college, they're probably going to want to know what's going on. I mean, if it's your parents, they probably care about you, and I know some people have like super overbearing, horrible parents when they're in college. I've had a few friends who that's been the situation. I know sometimes it just sucks, so that's why I said, like, if applicable, talk to your parents about it, or just talk to whoever's supporting you through college, if there is someone who's supporting you through college, just because it's a big thing. Like, if they're supporting you, they should pretty much know what's going on. It's hard to talk about. Like, if your parents are like, tell us everything, or like, we won't let you change your major, that sucks, and I'm so sorry you're going through that. Talk to your parents about it is an important step, but obviously there are going to be situations where you can't really talk to them about it, or you don't want to. I don't have a lot of experience in that department, so I'm sorry I can't really talk about that. Next, kind of related to what I just mentioned, is plan out how changing your major would affect your time in school. This is super duper important, because depending on what you change your major to, you could have to stay in school for like 1 to 2 extra years. For example, I got really lucky because I still loved biology, so changing my major basically had no impact on how much time I would be spending in school. But for example, if someone wanted to change from biology to physics or biology to computer science, a big major change can really affect how long you have to stay in school, obviously, because if you're like halfway through your major, say you're halfway through biology and then you want to change to physics, chances are you weren't taking a lot of physics classes and you don't have a lot of the prerequisites or like freshman, sophomore level physics classes to take the more advanced ones, and then you have to spend time taking those, and that's time and money. Whether or not you're supporting yourself through college or someone is supporting you, if you have to stay in college for longer, that's probably going to be more money, unless you have like a full ride or something. But even then, scholarships can be affected by how long you stay in college, or if you have to keep your grades up, or just things that play into the factors of you changing your major. And also think about if changing your major changes any plans you had for after school, if you are already close to graduating, or how you want to schedule your classes. For example, I changed my major, like not in the middle of a semester, but during a semester, and that was a little stressful at first. I was worried I'd have to like drop a bunch of classes and then start a bunch of classes like 2 weeks late. Thankfully I didn't have to do that, but like if you want to change your major in the middle of the semester, you gotta think about the consequences of that. And then going off of you making a plan about it, I would discuss this plan with your academic advisor. I think everyone should have one. I haven't been to any other colleges, but I'm assuming everyone has an academic advisor. Hopefully you do, or just talk it over with like a class dean or someone who's in charge of that kind of stuff for your year, and just make sure everything looks fine, that you will be able to fill all the requirements for your new major in hopefully a decent amount of time, things like that. These people are trained to know what the requirements for the majors are, so they should really be able to help you and just solidify your plan and make sure all of your ducks are in a row. And then finally, of course, go through with changing your major. Like I said, I haven't been to any other schools. I don't know how hard or easy it is to change your major at other schools, but at RPI it was literally just filling out a form and waiting like 2 days for all the changes to go through officially. Once you've like figured out your plan, you've talked with people, hopefully you have support if it's a stressful time for you. Once you change your major, hopefully like it all goes smoothly for you. I certainly felt way better about myself and my studies after I changed my major. So hopefully if you're thinking about changing your major and you do go through with it, hopefully you do feel better as well. There is one last thing I want to talk about because I know it is a common issue with people who change their major. I certainly went through with it. I've heard about other people who have. And what I want to say about it is don't worry about what others will think of you if you change your major, and don't be ashamed of yourself for changing your major. Like I said in my story, I felt like I was admitting defeat by giving up on this one class, and I felt kind of shitty about it for a few days because I felt weak, I felt dumb. I was worried when I emailed the professors asking for support. I was worried they would be like, you should keep trying, like don't give up, like don't be a wimp. And I was worried my friends would think I was, I don't know, not as smart as I should be, or I was worried my parents would be ashamed of me. The hard truth is maybe someone will be like that if you ever tell them you're thinking of changing your major. I know sometimes parents can be unsupportive. I know sometimes like if you have friends in the major you're changing out of, they can be like, oh, you're ditching us, and I know that can suck. But really, I just say fuck them and like take care of yourself. Like taking care of yourself and your physical, emotional, mental well-being is priority number one, because if you are physically unwell, emotionally unwell, mentally unwell, that will impact your studies no matter how hard you try to study or like how hard you try on this test. If things aren't right with you, even if like you're not getting enough sleep, something like that, your grades will probably suffer. And that also happened to me a couple years ago, and it's not fun. If you're stressing over what others will think of you, or what you're thinking about yourself if you're thinking about changing your major, I know I can't just say, don't worry about it, because I hate that and that doesn't work. But I just want to say, like, take care of yourself first. Do what you need to do to make yourself feel better. There's no shame in changing your major. There's no shame in acknowledging that you are struggling with something and taking steps to resolve that so you're not struggling anymore, so you get better, your mental health gets better, whatever. There's no shame in that at all, and sometimes I wish more people understood that. Hopefully you would have a support network that would be able to support you through changing your major, especially if it's super duper stressful. I certainly felt like I was giving up by changing my major, and that's why I hesitated a little bit. But after changing my major, I've been way happier. I love school way more, that I don't have to take those computer programming whatever classes, and honestly, like, I'm glad I got through the shame. I don't feel ashamed of it anymore because I took care of myself, and now that I am way more happy because of it, I'm not ashamed of what happened at all. If you are really stressing about changing your major, like I mentioned several times before in this video, do talk to someone. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in struggling. Everyone struggles. Everyone has problems in life. But if there is a way for you to take action in your own life and resolve those and feel happier about your life, I highly recommend taking it. That about sums up everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I know it was just me sitting here not being super interesting, and then like a lot of loud cars outside. I don't know what it is today. I wanted to just like sit down and have a cool chat about college things, because I know some people appreciate those videos. That's about it. If you guys have any questions related to changing your major, like for my advice or just more of my story, feel free to leave a comment. I will pretty much see and respond to every comment. I want to make more college related videos in the future because I know those help people as well, and I like helping people. I made videos in the past, like a week in my life at RPI. I made a video about my college experience so far, so those are really interesting because they help me reflect on my own experiences, which I don't do enough, I would say. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys with more interesting, more flashy content in a couple days. Bye bye.